You ever notice how a man can break your heart and still text you, hey stranger, like he just misplaced his keys? It's wild. He can disappear when you needed him most, go quiet when things got real, say he's not ready, say he's confused, say he doesn't want to hurt you. And then 3 weeks later, he will text back and said, I miss you. But what he really means is I-ness access. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Not love, not heartbreak, but access. Because there's a certain kind of man who doesn't want to be with you, but also doesn't want you free. And that messes with your head. Let me tell you something I had to learn the hard way. A man who damages you but still wants access is not confused. He's comfortable. Comfortable knowing you care. Comfortable knowing you'll answer. Comfortable knowing that no matter how badly he handled you, the door isn't fully closed. Access means he can text you when he's lonely. He calls you when the girl he actually chose isn't picking up, watches your stories, keeps tabs, feels wanted without giving you security. That's not love. That's emotional convenience. And here's the part that nobody will tell you. Though some of us ladies know, but refuse to accept the reality. Some men don't actually want the relationship. They just want the reassurance. They want to know they could have you, even if they don't plan to. And the reason it hurts so much is because when he reaches back out, your brain doesn't register ego validation. It registers hope. You think, maybe he realized, maybe he changed, maybe he finally understands my value. But watch his behavior. He resurfaces softly, ever with a plan, never with accountability, never with I was wrong and here's what I'm doing differently. I've been thinking, I didn't want to lose you. You're important to me. Important enough to text, not important enough to choose. There's a difference. It's always vague. I've been thinking, I didn't want to lose you. You're important to me. There's a difference. I remember this guy I dated years ago. He had this habit of disappearing when things got intimate, not physically, emotionally. The moment I asked for clarity, he'd pull back. But the second I started moving on, there he was, watching every story, replying to random posts, calling me at 11:42 p.m. like clockwork. Not 2 p.m., not Saturday afternoon, but fucking 11:42 p.m. That's not a man missing you. That's a man checking the access. Is she still available to me? And I used to answer. Because part of me thought, if he's still here, that must mean something. It did mean something. It meant I was still accessible. So now let's talk about why they do this. It's not always malicious. That's the tricky part. Sometimes it's ego. Sometimes it's attachment. Sometimes it's fear of losing control. Sometimes it's simply that you made him feel good about himself. You were supportive. You listened. You validated him. You believed in him. And losing that feels uncomfortable. But uncomfortable isn't the same as in love. Love protects. Access consumes. A man who loves you thinks, I don't want to hurt her. A man who wants access thinks, I hope she's not mad anymore. See the difference? One is concerned about your well-being. Other is concerned about whether the door is still unlocked. And here's where it gets real. Sometimes we keep the door cracked open, not wide open, just cracked. We don't block him, we don't fully cut contact. We respond, but slower. We tell ourselves we're being mature, but if we're honest, we're hoping. Hoping this time he'll show up differently. Hoping he'll finally see what he lost. Hoping he'll say the thing that gives us closure. But let me save you some time. Closure rarely comes from the person who broke you. It comes from the moment you realize you deserve better. You know what's interesting? The same man who says he's not ready for a relationship will panic the second you start dating someone else. Suddenly he's reflective. Suddenly he's emotional. Suddenly he made a mistake. No, he just felt the loss of access. There's a difference between losing a woman and losing access to a woman. One hits the heart. The other hits the ego. If he hurt you but still wants to talk, still wants to check in, still wants to be friends, ask yourself something uncomfortable. Why is friendship acceptable now when basic respect wasn't before? You don't get upgraded access after mishandling someone. That's not how this works. And now let's talk about trauma bonds, but in normal language. When someone hurts you and then comes back sweet, your nervous system gets confused. Pain, relief, it creates intensity. And intensity feels like love when you're in it. But healthy love doesn't feel like withdrawal. Healthy love feels steady. It feels boring in the beginning if you're used to chaos. That's the part nobody glamorizes. So now I want you to picture something. A house. Every time he texts, you open the front door just a little. You don't invite him in fully, but you let him stand there. Now imagine trying to heal, redecorate, rebuild with someone lingering in the doorway. You can't, because part of your energy is still facing him. Healing requires the door to close, not slammed, not dramatic, just closed. And here's the question I had to ask myself. Why am I answering? What am I hoping happens next? If nothing changes and this conversation plays out exactly like the last 5 times, am I okay with that? Are you in love with him or with who you hoped he'd become? That one stings. A man who truly values you does not risk losing you casually. He doesn't gamble with your heart. He doesn't test how much you'll tolerate. He steps up or he steps aside. And if he steps aside, he doesn't circle back just to make sure you're still emotionally on layaway. Access is a privilege. Your time, your softness, your emotional availability. Those are privileges. And the moment you start treating them that way, everything changes. You stop responding immediately. You stop explaining yourself. You stop giving updates on your life to someone who forfeited the right to share it. You don't announce it. You just shift. Quietly. Silence is powerful. Not as punishment, but as protection. Some men don't miss you. They miss the version of themselves that felt admired around you. They miss how easy you made life feel. They miss access to your energy. But real love shows up in daylight, with intention, with consistency, with clarity. No mystery. No breadcrumb trail, no emotional scavenger hunt. If a man damaged you and still wants access, it doesn't mean you weren't enough. It means he benefited from you, and benefits are hard to give up. But you get to decide. Does he still have the key, or are you finally changing the locks? Some men don't miss you. They miss access to you, and you get to decide if that door stays open.